Hi, Veronica, foster mom here, continuing with my chronicles. So today I'm going to chronicle baby O. So during our time as a foster parent, we received a call from placement, as foster parents do, and they asked if we wanted to have a baby. And so I was super excited. I did say yes, and asked for more information. And they basically told us it was a Caucasian baby girl, and she was in the NICU, so the neonatal ICU. At the hospital due to drug exposure. So the baby was born with drugs in the system. And so we ended up saying yes, we'll take this baby. Baby was about maybe 3 days old, and they asked if I could start visiting the baby just to bond. The NICU, it was set up to where the babies were rooming with their moms, and so because obviously baby O was in state custody, there wasn't a mom to room with. So I would go, and actually I'll just talk about the first time I went. Went, signed into the unit, walked into the room, and there's this little tiny baby. Like, it looked like a little baby doll. It did not look real, in this little, the hospital bassinet. And so I told the nurse, I introduced myself, and I said, yeah, I'm here to see her. And I can't even remember what all I said. And the nurse was like, wait. You keep saying her, but you do know it's a boy, right? And I said, are you sure? And she said, I changed his diapers. I am definitely sure. So I said, well, I was told on the phone that it was a Caucasian girl. And she said, well, first of all, it's definitely a boy. And she said, secondly, I don't think the baby is Caucasian. I think the baby is mixed race. So we did find out later, yes, baby was mixed race. Mom was Caucasian, dad African American. So I would go up to the hospital and hold him. So baby O was a him. And I would just hold him and rock him, feed him, just bond it with him. And I think after maybe 2 days, he was discharged. So I brought him home. And so my family was super excited. It had been a while since we had a baby in the home, and my family are just baby lovers. So of course we poured out all of our attention and affection on this baby. He became the center of our world. A few things I remember about him is that he loved being outside. At the time we would go to like football games and things like that. And so we'd put him in his little car seat, and then carry him in the carrier or car seat, whatever it is. You know what I mean? It converts. You carry the baby, but it pops into your car as a car seat. And so we would carry him in, and he would just be sitting there, just looking around, just eyes, just looking all over the place. He seemed very inquisitive. He liked to look at things. He was very alert. So alert, in fact, that he did not take very long naps. His naps, I think the longest nap was maybe 45 minutes at a time. And so for those of you who have had a newborn, you know that newborns like to sleep. Well, baby O did not sleep very much. So we did eventually get him on a schedule to where like during the night he would sleep probably maybe 4 hours at a time, but that was about his longest. He was always awake. He was not cranky. He slept a lot. I mean, not slept a lot. He just sat, like, just really chill. He just sat a lot and just kind of looked around. And I remember a couple times where I would check on him at night and his eyes were open and he was just kind of just laying there staring. I don't know what goes on in a baby's mind, but he seemed like just to be reflecting on a lot of things. So He so because of the drug exposure, he did have some delays, and he had and I forgot the term for it, but he was a very stiff baby, so the muscles very stiff. Like, we used to have to massage him and relax him to get him to, like, lift his arm, or massage his legs to get him to relax his legs. I had to do a lot of, so he was in therapy. We had to do a lot of tummy time so that he would, to hopefully encourage him to start trying to push up, because, that causes delays in with crawling and things like that when a baby is not, doesn't have enough tummy time. Now, of course, safety, you put the baby on its back to sleep, right? But we're talking during the day while he was awake. We would put him on just lay out a little blanket or his little play mat and put him on his tummy so that he could start pushing up. He didn't push up a lot, but eventually he got there. He had a strong grip. He would, grab our fingers or grab objects and, like, hold on tight. He was just a super sweet baby. My husband bonded with him a lot, and it was, pretty hard on my husband when it was time for baby O to transition to his permanent home. I'm pretty sure I shared in the intro, and everyone that I speak to, our mantra is that we are a temporary, safe, loving home until the children find their forever home. So we do not foster to adopt. I know that there are a lot of families that do foster with the intention of on adoption, but we are not one of those families. However, baby O was such a fit into our family. Like, all of our biological children loved him, our parents. So, that would have been, baby O's foster grandparents. Like, all of our extended families just love this baby. And my husband was very attached to him. Like, my husband would lay him on his chest, and then they just, again, baby O didn't sleep very much, but he would lay for his 30-minute whatever nap, and then he was just really chill, just relaxing with my husband. So very touching, very sweet moments. But it did come to the point after probably about maybe 6 months or so where the department knew that they were going to terminate the parental rights of mom and dad. And that means that once those rights are terminated, then the child is in full custody of the state and is available for adoption. And so they like to have a child in a home, a pre-adoptive home, or they call it a legal risk home. They want the child in a home that intends to adopt that child, so that when the termination happens, the judge knows that this child isn't just going to be in state custody waiting for a family. The termination happens quicker if they know the child is in a home that has bonded with the baby and intends to adopt him or her. So that came to the point with baby O, and I told you I'm a person of faith, and so I did pray, even though I personally was not looking to adopt, and I know that my husband and I, that was our mantra, and that was a commitment that we came into it with. But because baby O was such a fit in our family, I had to kind of backpedal and really seek God on if this was something that he wanted us to do. And so I set aside my own personal feelings and prayed, just really prayed, God, is this something you want us to do? And I just felt strongly. I know sometimes people say they heard from God, or, I can't really say at this point whether I heard something or just felt it in my heart. I just know with assurance that I knew that I was not called to be his mom, number one, and number two, that there was a young family that had been praying for a baby, and he was meant to be with them. And so once I heard that, because there's no way I would have known that in and of myself, right? But I had such an assurance in me that I knew that it didn't come from me. And so I told my husband, and again, he was devastated. I mean, he wanted to adopt this baby, And he actually, just to be fully transparent, it was hard on him for the baby to leave. My husband actually stayed in bed for 2 days, couldn't eat, couldn't really get up. He kind of fell into, I guess depression temporarily for a couple days. And yeah, and he had to, so that was his grieving period, and I had to allow that. Um, the department did ask me to hand off the baby. And so I asked my husband if he wanted to go, and he was like, definitely not. So I packed up his things and I drove out to the couple's home. So again, I had never met them before, but they knew that I was coming to bring the baby. And so I knock on the door, they opened the door, and it was an older couple. And so I was kind of taken aback, and I was like, wow, okay. But I'm on a mission here. I have this baby. And so I go in, sweet couple. They let me stay for a little while, and I was sharing like baby O's baby book and just some memories and things like that. And but I did ask them, I said, hey, if you don't mind me asking, just curious, because you guys are a little older and my husband and I are older, and that was part of the reason in our decision not to do fostering to adopt, because we are older. I said, but I know you guys are probably a little younger than us, but what are your thoughts on that? And they were like, oh no, we're still active, and yeah, we want to do this. And so I was like, okay. Awesome. I said, but can you please allow us to remain a part of his life? And so they said, sure, and so we exchanged phone numbers. And I think at that point I already had their number, because I think I texted them and told them I was on my way or something like that. But anyway, so leave, go home. Over the next couple months, I'm checking in. Hey, how's this baby doing? And they would send me pictures and, give me updates and things like that. And then all of a sudden it stopped. So after probably maybe a month, I was kind of like, what's going on here? So I just reached out to the worker, the caseworker for the baby. And I just said, hey, not trying to be intrusive here, but I haven't heard from this family. I just want to check in and make sure that baby O is okay and that the family's okay. And she said, oh, they didn't tell you? She said, they disrupted. Now, for those who aren't familiar with that term, that basically means when you have a placement, you decide that you can no longer keep that child, and you ask that the child be moved to another home. And so she said they disrupted. They said that they felt they were, a little too old to have a young baby. So I'm like, whoa, okay. I was like, okay, where is he now? What's going on here? And she said, we found another placement. And, they're very sweet, as a couple, husband and wife, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, can you please, I know they don't have to, but can you please give them my number and ask them to reach out to me? I said, I just want to know how he's doing. And so she was like, sure, I'll do it. She said, again, they're not required to contact you, but I said, I understand. So she said she'll pass it on. Sure enough, a couple days later, I get this text from this woman, and she's like, hey, we're the new foster parents of baby O, and so she and I started chatting, and she would send pictures, and I said, so you guys are definitely planning to adopt him? And she was like, yeah. And she was like, as a matter of fact, let's get together. Like, she and her husband, and surprise, they had another baby. So she said that around the time when they decided to foster to adopt, she found out she was pregnant. So baby O ended up having a baby brother, like very close in age to him. But what really touched me was when the people came to the door, it was a young couple, first of all. And then when they came in and we were talking, and I was talking to the mom, she said, yeah, I have been praying for a baby, and he was my answer. She said, I know baby O is my answer to prayer. Now, guys, I don't know if that gives you chills or not, but that, I'm telling you, that to me just confirmed that number one, we had done the right thing, but I was also amazed at my awesome God and how he orchestrates all of these things. And so, yeah, he orchestrates them when we seek him. But yeah, so it was a very special time having baby O in our home, and now we rejoice with him and his family because we were invited to his adoption, adoption proceedings. So me, my mother-in-law went with me. We all went to the courthouse when they finalized his adoption by his new family. So super excited, and thank you for listening, and hopefully you'll tune in for some of the other chronicles. Thank you.